Hi everyone, this is Penguin Trades, and this is a review for the ES and NQ futures for September 19th. We're going to start off on the ES here and then hop over to the NQ. So this is our overnight high, this is our overnight low, these are our key levels for the day. I started trading at 8 Central Time, which is this area right here. And so starting off, we have this uptrend, break, and a push up to a new high, and then price starts reversing back down. Now, we also have this wider uptrend, which uses a tiny bit of the price action from the previous day, which is okay to use because it just fits so well. And so we have this wider uptrend going, but it doesn't end up holding. And so this uptrend played out, and that immediately led to the break of this wider channel. And then as we push out here, we get a little correction and we start a second leg down. So it looks like at first when you get this leg down here that you could end up getting a two-legged break, but since we ended up making a new high right here, this is this is a count reset, this is the start of a new downtrend right here. And so we have this two-legged move down, breaking out of this channel, and as soon as this measured move is met, price immediately starts pushing up, but that does not last. So this uptrend has a break. We can expect prices to attempt a new high, and so when it starts pushing up here, this is a good place to to look for a failed second entry. If you get one, then you'll want to look to get long on it because the uptrend has a break. Like I said, you can expect price to attempt a new high, and if it holds above, then that means things are going well for making a new high. But in this case here, the EMA holds it down, so we just push lower. No entry there, no way to get short there because just a first entry, and that's especially bad after coming off of a measured move because these are important levels here. They are very strong. Price generally has a good reaction to them. We had a really good reaction here, but that doesn't mean that you can just take this because the EMA started rejecting it. So anyway, not a second entry, it's just a first entry. And I'm going to mention this for anyone who's new. I see that there's a tick lower right there, so you might view it as first entry short, second entry short. That's not a big enough separation from this push up right here, so this is all just one leg up to me. So that's just not the way that I trade. So anyway, we push lower here. This downtrend gets a small break to a new low. That immediately pushes price into a reversal, and we get this push up. Now, when we start pushing up here, it becomes clear to see that this whole trend down was the break of this uptrend, which, I mentioned that. This was the break, and then this is your first attempt at a new high. So very typical. Uptrend, break, push to a new high. Now, in this case here, price starts stalling before it makes that new high. We're only on that first leg. Very commonly, price has two legs to a new high. Sometimes it will make the new high after the first attempt and then still give you the second leg. But in this case here, we still have a new high yet to be made. And so we have this break. Oftentimes, after the first attempt at a new high, price will have a correction and offer an entry to get in on the second attempt, but we don't get that here because we only have a first entry, not off of any support. It'd be nice to see two clear legs back, then a pushback above, and possibly get some higher low in order to get long. But in this case here, price immediately starts pushing up again, and so now this uptrend has a break and a new high. And so this long right here, I want to get into this because this could be confusing for people because this uptrend just played out. Now, it is a failed second entry. Starting from here, you have first entry short, second entry short, failure. But you have to be extra careful in this because this uptrend just played out. There's a reason I didn't immediately enter off of here, and that's because since the uptrend just played out, we can expect price to attempt to reverse. Price pushed below the EMA, had two bars closing below the EMA, and so when it pushed back above, that just wasn't enough for me. I was afraid that price could attempt a new low because this right here is a downtrend. It has a new high. Even though it's a small downtrend, it still is a downtrend and has a capacity to play out. And so that's why I liked waiting on an attempt at a new low. Here we get our attempt at a new low because we have this red bar here. Price ticks lower, and then it traps to the highs. So there's going to be people going short right here because it's a red bar, and they'll see a red bar, they'll immediately pile short, they'll see it closing on its low, they'll think, oh, this is super bearish, but they don't see the overall context. This uptrend is clearly pushing up to a new high. We have this measured move still in play. This trend line is holding, and so when it ticks lower and then starts pushing up here, their stops are piled above this bar, and they're getting stopped out as we're entering long. And so this is a great trap entry. This is, from here, it's a small downtrend, small break to a new low, but all we needed was that small little trap in this, in order to go long with the overall context that we have. So if you just look at each bar that goes by and you're all zoomed in and you're not looking at the overall context, you could very easily be one of those people getting trapped because they're just looking at each bar that goes by and they're not looking at the overall context. And so anyway, we push on up here, get a little reaction to the overnight high, but it pushes on through, and as soon as that measured move is met, price starts reacting and pushes on down. So now we have uptrend, break, new high. This uptrend is now considered played out, and price has reversed and faded back into the overnight high. And so we start pushing lower here. Good place to get a failed second entry, push lower, a couple legs back, retesting the overnight high possibly on a failed second entry, and we can look to continue short, from this fade, using the momentum of the fade. In this case here, what ends up happening is we have this downtrend, break, push to a new low, and then a sharp push back above the EMA. Now, yes, right here, this is technically a failed second entry. You have first entry long, second entry long, failure. But considering how this downtrend played out and then how sharp that pushback above the EMA was, I would have wanted to see another leg back, because at this point here, we have this upward bias that's forming, this kind of slant up. And so we have this higher low. This is the first higher low for the overall range. And then here on this reversal, the downtrend already played out. So this is the first sign of a bullish imbalance because it's, unable to get to the other side after coming off one side of the range, which this is one thing that I want to explain more. So with overnight levels and range levels in general, you can expect price to go from side to side to side. Now, if you come off one side and price is unable to reach the other side, it just holds up on one side, that's an imbalance. The bulls are now winning out for this overnight range here. Now, that doesn't mean it can't recover, it doesn't mean it can't go down, but considering after holding here, the uptrend has gotten up to here and played out, and it still can't get very far on reversal. The downtrend is already playing out. It's rushing back above the EMA. This is just simply too risky to take right here. The bulls are starting to win out for this trend, and so that's why I'd want to see a second leg back retesting the overnight high, and that could be another opportunity for a short. But considering this is already played out and we only have one attempt up, I would not want to take a short there. Not that there's much room to these lows anyway. So anyway, we push on lower here, and clearly at this point, as we start pushing up here, that's when it's more clear to see that we have this uptrend forming. I caught this right before this swing right there, but I could have caught it a little earlier, but it is what it is. So we start pushing up here. That's when this channel is very clear. We're pushing on higher here. We have this drawn, and then we reach the overnight high right here. So one leg up straight to the overnight high, and then we get this two-legged break. So two-legged break from an uptrend, yes, that means we can look to enter long. This is a failed second entry. However, you are right into the overnight high, and you do not want to be entering into a key level like that. It's not off of any clear support either. It is off of this measured move right here, but price had pushed pretty good through that measured move and chopped around through it for a bit. So it's not like it's a perfect support level, especially just coming off the overnight high and the entry into the overnight high. And so for that reason, I skipped out on this trade here. It does end up working, but that does not mean it will work out next time. Yeah, we had the bullish imbalance, but that doesn't mean you want to enter directly into a major key level. So anyway, it does push on out here. Now starting from here, we have this two-legged move up. Second leg is obviously much larger than that first leg. Let me just draw this out here. So first leg up, break, second leg up, starts reacting at it, it's pushing through it. It is going sideways, so it's clearly finding resistance right there, but it is managing to push through a little bit. What I would have liked to see is, as this measured move is met, price push down. This is a pretty good looking leg, but what I'd like to see is a second leg down like that, because what you could get is, oh, I didn't mean to move that channel there, sorry about that. Because what you could get is a two-legged retest of the overnight high, and stemming from here, it would be another failed second entry. Okay, because this is the breakout leg. Even though, this is a two-legged move here, this leg is a breakout leg. It's a little bit bigger than this leg, so if you get a failed second entry stemming from it with a good reaction, you can still look to take it, absolutely. But in this case here, as you can see, we just don't get that. We just have this uptrend, break, pushing straight to a new high. So, we could get a reversal pattern down, possibly attempting to retest this right here. You just have to be very careful because of the very clear bullish imbalance. There's not a lot of room for a clear one to set up, but we could still get a two-legged retest even after this uptrend playing out. It just needs to be two clear legs with a very good hold, and we can look to continue with this uptrend here. And so that's going to do it for the ES. I'm going to hop over to the NQ now. So here's the NQ. Again, overnight high, overnight low, key levels for the day. I started trading at 8, this area right here. And so notice that, let me just zoom in here. I keep accidentally moving my channels around. So notice here, we have these two legs up. Price pushes on through this measured move. I don't have the measured move drawn out at the moment, but right there. So price pushes on through that measured move like it's not even there. Doesn't even give a, like a two-legged retest, because when price pushes through a measured move level, as if it's not there, it's common to retest on the other side of it, in this case here, the top of it, and you could look to get long and continue with the uptrend past that measured move. But we don't get that here, so we have this uptrend working higher, we have this wider uptrend here, and again, we're at this overnight high. Now price breaks out right around the time that I start trading, and holds off this trend line right here, so this trend line is still working higher, this trend is still moving up, and we break the overnight high. Now, when you break the overnight high, you don't want to immediately buy the breakout just because you're getting a green bar closing on its high, pushing out. You want to wait for 2 attempts to fade so you can get in on the fade failure, because when price breaks out, it's so common to fade back in, whether it's an overnight level or a range level. And in this case here, we push on up, and then here we get our 2 attempts to fade. So first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade. It's also a small 2-legged break from this uptrend. When an uptrend gets a break, you can expect prices to attempt a new high. However, and it does look tempting in this area here, because right off this measured move, you get a bullish bar closing on its high. However, it is into this trend line right here, and it's also into the EMA. Now, these legs, they are clear, but they could have been a little more separated. It is still one leg on a slightly bigger picture. It's all fitting neatly within this one channel here, and so this was a bit too risky. Now, when we push lower here on this 2-legged move down and we get this reaction, overshoots do commonly lead to breaks. However, just given the context, this could just be buying a breakout. Now, like I said, we have our 2 attempts. However, they're very thin. It is all fitting within this channel here. It could just count as 1 attempt down, and you don't want to combine that with entering into the EMA and this trend line right here. So it's just not worth it. That's why I skipped it here. It does end up pushing on out here, but I would really want to see 2 clear separated legs. Ideally, when you get a 2-legged retest, you'll have 2 clear legs that are separated from one another that don't easily fit into the same little channel. You know what I'm saying? They have a very clear separation. These ones, you can still see them, but they're a little bit more sideways going along with this channel here. So that's why I do not like entering on it. Because once it breaks, this is a downtrend. Once it breaks here, it could immediately start attempting a new low. So overall, it's just not a perfect setup here, and we really only want to be taking the best trades that we can. So that's why I don't like that there. We push on higher here. Now, this uptrend has a break and a new high. As soon as it makes that new high, it starts pushing on down. So we have this first leg down, second leg down. Now, we could get a 2-legged retest, and if we have a good reaction, we can look, for a long to buy the breakout because of the 2 clear attempts to fade. However, in this case here, price just continues on lower and pushes on down. Sometimes you'll get one very common thing is when you have a 2-legged move, you'll have a 2-legged correction between the 2 legs. In this case here, we just have that one. But, if we had gotten 2 legs up, we would have had a more clear separation anyway, and we could have found a retest, for a long here. But it just fades on down. So as soon as we fade in, let me just show you the context again. Uptrend, break, new high. Uptrend is played out and is fading back in. Now the price is fading back into the overnight high. Now, this is a great place for a reversal pattern down. Considering the context, common reversal area, the trend is played out. If we push lower, couple legs back, holding below the overnight low, the overnight high, then we can look to continue short. We'd be able to get in on the second leg down on this fade. However, it does not last very long. Price very quickly overshoots this channel, immediately pushes out the high, and starts finding resistance at the overnight high again. So we're already pushing back up to the overnight high with this first leg. Second leg pushes us out, and now we have this measured move in play right here. So up measured move, we make after that second leg up starts correcting, the measured move is still in play. Now, considering this reversal barely lasted at all, it just immediately started pushing back out. This is a bullish imbalance, okay? Just like we were talking about on the ES part. So a bullish imbalance is forming. This measured move is still in play at this point, hasn't reached it yet, and from the low count here, we have first entry short, second entry short, failure. Now, of course, ideally on a failed second entry, you get a push up and a couple legs back, but this is still technically a failed second entry. And even though this little uptrend has a break and a new high at this point, we're still using the overall context to continue long, the bullish imbalance, the measured move that's still in play. And so that's why I like this right here. Even though this uptrend technically played out, price is still holding to the upside, and then we get a nice good reaction off the overnight high with room to reach with room to reach this measured move here. Just had to push it out a couple of ticks. And so anyway, we push on up here, we go into this channel, price overshoots, immediately leads to a break. And now we have uptrend, break. When an uptrend gets a break, you can expect price to attempt a new high. Now, one thing I want to point out here is this reversal, so uptrend, break, new high, reversal, is really just a bigger picture break. At first it's the reversal, but since the reversal failed and pushed on higher back out of the overnight high, it's no longer a reversal attempt necessarily. Now it's to be viewed as the break. So uptrend, this whole thing is the uptrend, including its break to new high. On a bigger picture, it's all part of the same trend up. And so then this is our break. So now we have uptrend, break, and then this is our attempt at a new high. We're making this leg up, attempting a new high, and we successfully make that new high. So now here, the uptrend has played out on a bigger picture, and we start reversing on down. Now, this is a good place for a full-on reversal pattern. Even though we had this bullish imbalance, considering the uptrend played out and we're still near the overnight high, we can still absolutely look to get a short on a reversal pattern. However, in this case here, we just don't make a clear reversal pattern. After that overshoot, it just starts pushing on lower. Obviously you don't want to take this lower high, that's not off of anything. Continue on down, we go into this wider channel, and then we reach the lows all within this channel here. Now, you don't want to take a long that's inside of a clear channel. It could very easily bounce off the top and stop you out. Here, we break out, one attempt at a new low, so downtrend, break, first attempt lower. If we got a second attempt lower that holds, then we could have possibly gone along, but since we only have the one attempt, it's not enough. We continue on higher here and form a new uptrend. So it just completely pushes out, two-legged move up. The second leg is much bigger. It just starts its own new trend. And so we have uptrend, break, new high, and then price starts reversing. Now, that's what it looks like, right? When you look at it, you just see the uptrend, break, new high, and then the reversal. However, this swing is lower than this swing. So what that means is you have a two-legged move here. This push up is just the break between these two legs here. So first entry long, second entry long. This is a second entry. Now, the measured move is not met. We can still tell that it's, these legs are connected based on their size, but the measured move isn't met. Price is holding up from this uptrend right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. At first I had the channel off of this swing, and then I adjusted it to fit these highs better from right there. And so this is where it fits best. Now, price pushes down to it. It starts reacting, gets a little bit sideways at first because, from this new high right here, it's not a new high from here. It's still a two-legged move down, but, from this push up, we have these swings, we make this new high, and then price has a sharp push down, has a small break, push to a new low, and then that's when it reverses higher. I liked it above here when it was out of this little chop right here. So that's why I liked it there, closing above the EMA, barely above the EMA. But either way, it is still clearly holding on this channel, getting above the EMA. You have room to this other side here, only a tick pushing out or so. And yeah, this looks great. Second entry long, holding off this major key entry point, this uptrend that's been going on for the whole day at this point. And we push on up, price, target right at those highs there. And then, you can see that price pushed up in a two-legged move off of the trend line here. So two-legged move up. As soon as that measured move was met, price immediately started going sideways. Very clear resistance right there. And if we push lower, and one thing I want to mention is you can see that there's a second entry long right here. It's below the EMA, and I would not want to be taking this. I wasn't trading at the moment that that this happened, but we have this two-legged move down, second entry long, but we have very clear resistance right there. Entry is below the EMA. By the time we get above the EMA, it's not an ideal bar. It's just kind of a doji bar, not a complete doji, but it's not a very bullish bar. But the main thing here is this resistance matches with this swing right here. So there's clearly a resistance level right here. So if price had pushed above further and then made a couple legs back retesting, then it'd be much better for a long rather than finding clear resistance at the high of the day. And so that's why I don't like this second entry long right there. Now, this is how you know a trend is losing steam, because just like in a range, when you can expect price to go from side to side to side, same thing in a channel. Now, channels have a bias. They have, uptrends obviously have an upward bias. That's why they're called uptrends. However, if price is unable to go to the other side, then this is the beginning of what's basically a bearish imbalance within the uptrend, because the bears are holding price down from reaching the other side. And so that's not ideal for longs. That's how you can tell that trends are starting to lose steam. They're starting to become weaker. And yeah, that's what's happening right here. It could still recover. If it pushes up a couple legs back, it can absolutely recover. But this is the first warning sign that this trend is coming to an end, when it can't get above a certain level, and the bears are just holding it down. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I hope it helped out. Yeah, have a great day, everybody. See you next time.